Hey, what's up, Seahawks Nation? Man, today's been a wild one. There's a lot going on with this team, and you cannot miss any of it. First, a Super Bowl champion pass catcher might be getting poached, and another franchise is already sliding in with the paperwork ready. Then, John Schneider stepped up to the mic and addressed that one position everybody's been sweating since free agency opened, and what he said is interesting, to say the least. And on top of that, Kenneth Walker himself broke his silence about leaving Seattle, and honestly, his words hit different. Drop a like real quick and stay locked in. This is everything happening with your Hawks right now. Let's get into it. Alright, so here's the deal. The Jacksonville Jaguars are making a move for one of Seattle's own. They've submitted an offer sheet for restricted free agent wide receiver Jake Bobo, and now the ball is completely in the Seahawks' court. Seattle has 5 days to either match the offer and keep him, or let him walk to Jacksonville without getting anything back in return. Why no compensation? Because Seattle tendered Bobo at the original round level, which comes in at $3.52 million. And since he went undrafted back in 2023, there's no pick attached if he leaves. So if the Hawks don't match, Jacksonville just takes him. Simple as that. Now, Jake Bobo isn't exactly a household name, but don't sleep on what this guy brings to a roster. The UCLA product has been incredibly durable, playing in 17 games in each of his first 2 NFL seasons. His offensive production has been modest, 32 catches, 303 yards, and 3 touchdowns combined. But that's not really the story with Bobo. The real value? Special teams. He's racked up 587 special team snaps in his career, and in 2024, he was on the field for 67% of Seattle's special teams plays. That's not a depth guy, that's a core piece of your coverage units. And let's not forget the moment that put him on the map for a lot of people. That 17-yard touchdown catch in the NFC Championship game against the Rams in a 31-27 Seahawks win, the guy showed up when it mattered most. He didn't have a catch in Super Bowl 60, but he was on the field for 35 snaps, 16 on offense, 19 on special teams. He was out there doing his job. For the Jaguars, this move makes a lot of sense. With Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, and the electrifying two-way player Travis Hunter leading the way at receiver, Jacksonville already has weapons, but they lost Tim Patrick and Dyami Brown, who combined for 712 offensive snaps last year, and they need bodies to fill that depth. Bobo fits that role perfectly, a reliable depth receiver who can be an impact player every single week on special teams. The question now is whether Seattle decides he's worth keeping. 5 days. The clock is ticking. But honestly, the Bobo situation is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle in Seattle right now. Because while that's going on, John Schneider went on the air and addressed the elephant in the room, the running back position, and what he said got people talking immediately. Okay, so let's be real, a lot of Seahawks fans were not exactly thrilled with how the start of free agency went for Seattle. Kenneth Walker, 3 gone, Rick Woolen gone, Boy Mafe gone, Kobe Bryant gone. That's a lot of key contributors walking out the door in a short period of time. And the running back spot in particular felt like a massive void that needed to be addressed fast. But here's the thing, the front office doesn't see it that way. General Manager John Schneider went on the Seattle Sports John Schneider Show and made it very clear that the panic you're seeing in the fantasy, he's not feeling any of that. The only running back signing Seattle has made so far is Emmanuel Wilson, a former Green Bay Packers back on a 1-year, $2.1 million deal. The numbers from his time in Green Bay, 998 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns over 34 games in the last 2 seasons. He's a heavy runner with quick feet, and according to Schneider, the team is genuinely excited about him. Here's what Schneider actually said about the position. That's a position that you can find, guys. Obviously, K9 is outstanding. Everyone's excited for him. It's a great contract for a running back, but we're really excited about Emmanuel Wilson. A heavy runner with really nice feet, Charb is doing great. Kenny McIntosh is doing great. Now, let's break that down a little, because there's a lot to unpack. Zach Charbonnet Charb is actually Seattle's most proven option at running back right now, but he's still recovering from a torn ACL suffered in the postseason. He's going to miss a good chunk of the 2026 season. And Kenny McIntosh, who Schneider praised, had his first real shot in 2024 and showed flashes. 172 yards on 31 carries before going down with a torn ACL in training camp last July. He's still working his way back to... So what you're really looking at least for the start of the season, Is Wilson and Helene, two relatively inexperienced backs, being asked to carry the load for a team defending a Super Bowl title? Helene had 73 yards and a touchdown on 22 carries in limited action this past season. That's the group right now. Schneider's.com approach might look like putting out a fire with words instead of action, but it's worth remembering he's done this before. Last year, everyone was worried about the interior offensive line, and then Seattle turned around and drafted Gray Zabel in the first round of the 2025 draft. The answer might very well be coming in the draft again. But for now, the GM is choosing patience, and the fanbase is watching very closely. And if you thought Schneider was calm talking about the running back room in general, wait until you hear what he had to say specifically about Kenneth Walker leaving. Because this next part makes the picture even clearer on exactly where Seattle's head is at with all of this. Let's put this into perspective real quick. Kenneth Walker 3. Just one Super Bowl MVP. He rushed for 313 yards and 4 touchdowns across 3 postseason games. The guy had one of the best playoff runs a running back has had in recent memory, and Seattle just let him go. Walker finished his 4 years with the Seahawks with 3,555 rushing yards and 31 total touchdowns. He was a franchise cornerstone. And the moment the legal tampering window opened, he was gone, agreeing to a 3-year $43.05 million deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs. He's heading to Andy Reid's offense, and you can already picture what that's going to look like. So, how is John Schneider handling all of this? Well, turns out he's sleeping just fine. During his appearance on Seattle Sports, Schneider was asked directly about the backfield situation and replacing Walker's impact. His response: "That's a position that you can find guys. That's it. No drama, no panic, no big speech. Just quiet confidence, or at least that's the face he's putting on." And look, Schneider isn't wrong that the position has options. Zach Charbonnet is a real weapon when healthy. He's proven that. But the torn ACL means Seattle will likely have to manage his return carefully throughout the 2026 season. Emmanuel Wilson is now the leading candidate to start Week 1. And while the Packers liked what they saw from him, stepping in as the starter for a Super Bowl defending offense is a very different challenge. There's also the draft to consider. Schneider hasn't closed the door on finding Walker's replacement through the 2026 NFL Draft, and given how he operates, patient, strategic, willing to let the market come to him, that scenario is very much on the table. As for Walker himself, he seems at peace with the move. Speaking to the Kansas City Star, he said, "It means a lot. You feel appreciated and wanted. That's what everybody wants. So I'm just happy to get in here and get to know the guys and work." He also pointed out that Kansas City knows exactly what it takes to win championships, which is hard to argue with given their track record. It's a clean break. Walker gets paid, gets to chase more rings with one of the most well-run organizations in football. And Seattle moves forward without missing a beat, at least according to the GM. Whether the roster backs that up once the 2026 season kicks off is a completely different story. Look, Schneider has earned the right to be trusted. The man built a Super Bowl champion, but letting Walker walk without a proven starter ready to go is a real gamble, no matter how calm he sounds. The draft